Hello, it's Dr. Edward, the Healing Vet, here for your weekly free live show where I talk about holistic pet health topics and help you give your pets the best life that you possibly can give them. So today, I'm going to talk about something that's quite contentious, really, which is I'm going to talk about energy healing and how you can help your pets with energy healing. Now, energy healing is something that I've been involved with learning and practicing for decades because I found when I was really unwell myself with chronic fatigue syndrome and Western medicine said, sorry, got nothing more to help you with. You're just going to have to, that's it, can't help you. So I started exploring alternatives and I found that energy healing really did relieve my symptoms and helped me feel better and helped me cope better to an extent. It wasn't the whole story, but it helped a lot. So I then started using energy healing with animals. And I found that animals were very sensitive to energy healing, very responsive to energy healing, and I could often help them quite a lot with it. So let's talk about matter and energy, which are the two sides that I see to true healing. You could also say yin and yang for matter and energy, but matter is the physical, energy is the non-physical. And hello to all of you who are watching live. Please do say hi in the chat. I'd love to hear where you're from. If you have questions as we go, pop them in the chat and I'll answer them as we go along. And if you're on the replay, likewise, please say hi. Let me know where you are, what animals you have, and ask any questions that you might have. So matter and energy. Now for me, healing is a natural process. It's a return to the natural state of all living beings, which is balance, harmony, homeostasis, vitality, or wholeness. So in my opinion, whenever there's any kind of disease going on in a living being, the living being has moved away from its natural state and into a state of imbalance. And there's lots of things that can cause this, whether it be an active infection with some sort of bacteria or virus or other pathogen like a parasite. It can be mental emotional distress, it can be poor nutrition. So there's a whole lot of physical reasons that can then put the whole energy system out of balance, and there are also energetic reasons that can put the physical systems out of balance. So if, for instance, your animal is sleeping in a spot where there's geopathic stress, there's a lot of EMF radiation in the house, or exposure to a whole lot of mental emotional distress from the humans, all these things can cause problems for the animals. So energy healing is a way to help your pet stay well, recover from illness, surgery, or other traumas. But we live in a society that places a great emphasis and importance on only the physical aspects of reality. If something can't be physically measured, weighed, seen or interacted with, it tends to be discounted, shoved in the woo-woo basket, and if not just ignored, actively demonized. Now, this is kind of strange, right? Because the science we depend on so heavily has also proven that everything that we sense or see as measure as a physical, solid thing in reality is actually 99.99999% nothing. Space. What the atoms and electrons that actually make up physical matter take up a minute percentage of what the thing really is. There's hardly anything in everything that we perceive as physical, as solid, is mostly empty space. Hello Georgia from San Diego with the Dachshund, and Xian, and anyone else who's out there, please say hi. I'd love to hear where you're from. So how woo is quantum physics? When we dig into quantum physics, it helps explain how healing, a possible mechanism for energy healing and how it affects the physical body. Because there's all sorts of strange, unexplainable, well, they used to be unexplainable, difficult to explain, head-bending phenomena are when in quantum physics, these are the bread and butter of quantum physics. So if we consider a photon, which is the unit of light. So all light is many, many photons. Now, is the photon a particle, like a solid, concrete thing that we can measure, or is it a wave, like a pure form of energy? The hard and fast answer that science will give you is something like this. Well, you know, it can either be a particle or it can be a wave, or indeed it's often in some kind of undefined state in which it could be either a particle or wave, and we won't know until we try to find out. As in, the act of observation collapses the photon into a particle state or a wave state. Now, then you get something which is super amazing and wonderful, but also kind of strange, which is the phenomenon called quantum entanglement. Now, this is when two or more photons that are separated in space in different places, this pair or group of particles can act as if they are a single unified thing in terms of measurable qualities. They behave the same, they have the same qualities, they essentially are the same in a strange way, and if one particle is affected by something and that changes the particle, then all the other particles change instantaneously in response to that. They are coherently entangled and affect each other very intimately. And the simple act of observing or measuring the qualities of one of these entangled photons causes it to collapse from a state of potential or possibility, in which it is effectively both particle and wave simultaneously, or perhaps neither, into a discrete measurable state of being. And this instantly affects any other particles that are quantumly entangled with that particle that we are measuring. So this even transcends time, because there's an instantaneous transmission or change with the entangled electrons. Now, you probably think, what's this got to do with holistic veterinary and animals? Well, it shows how we can energetically connect with and affect the systems of the animal, both when we're nearby and at a distance. Quantum entanglement can explain that from a scientific perspective. So matter is energy, and energy is matter. You know, we get Einstein's classic equation, E equals mc squared. So the amount of energy in a physical object, which is E, is equal to the mass of the object multiplied by the speed of light to the power of 2, or squared. Now this tells us there's an immense, absolutely insane amount of energy in everything that is physical, what we call matter. And remember that 99.99999% of everything that we perceive to be solid is actually space. The physical particles that make up atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, take up next to nothing of the actual physical space that we perceive of a thing. And many of the particles that make up matter are dynamic, not fixed. So the electrons that are bound into an atom exist in this strange three-dimensional cloud-like wave function state. So they're more like a vibration than a thing, and this vibration has a particular frequency. And when chemical reactions take part in the body, atoms are combined or split apart, and there are changes in the vibration of these different atoms in the body. So everything in the body is vibrating, has frequency, is energy in movement, even though it seems to be solid and still. Now, you and your animals are both physical and energy beings. You can't say anything is only physical or only energy. They are always both, and the physical and energetic natures of anything, and especially living beings, are in a continual dance of interaction. So when I'm talking to you, there's an energetic connection between you and me, and there's resonance and vibration being transmitted like a silent conversation between us the whole time. And the physical, if you touch the physical body, it affects the energy systems of the body. And if you interact with the energy systems of the body, it's going to have a knock-on effect with the physical parts of the body. And this is why, if you want to support true healing in yourself or your pets, or just really vibrant good health in your pets and yourself, I believe you need to consider and interact with the living being both physically and energetically to get the best possible outcome. Now, I'm going to tell a story here in a minute. So Michelle's got a thing Michelle's got a saying that my 15-year-old Papillon isn't feeling well in Indianapolis. He's 16 pounds. He's got joints and back pain. Michelle, please email me or message me, and I'll be able to. We have some online trainings that will help you learn how to help your old friend. So let's talk about an old Akita that I treated a few years ago. This dog came in to see me with severe autoimmune disease and was so unwell that the owners were actively thinking that maybe putting this old guy to sleep would actually be better for him than keeping him alive. He was really miserable. Now, they'd been to several vets, tried all sorts of standard veterinary things, nothing had worked. I tried a whole lot of holistic veterinary treatments and supplements, nothing worked. And I said, let's try an energy healing session because I got nothing else to offer you, but it's worth a try. I did one energy healing session with this dog and all his symptoms improved 50% instantly from the one energy healing system. And I work mostly hands off. I hardly touch the physical body at all. So there's a whole lot of ways you can interact with your animal's body energetically. So there's energy healing with the whole energy body balance method, which I created and we have online trainings for. If you would want to learn more about that, message me. Along with many others like Reiki, reconnection, pranic healing. Another way is to work with flower essences and homeopathy are more vibrational, energetic remedies. And though acupuncture is using physical needles, they're using physical needles to affect and shift the energetic systems of the meridian systems of the animal, which can have profound effects on shifting the physical systems to greater health and well-being. And physical interventions also shift and affect the energy systems of the body. So in rare cases you can get a vaccination and it'll just crash the dog. It'll totally mess up their and dysregulate their energetic and physical systems of the body, triggering chronic or even acute and fatal autoimmune disease. And bodywork can clear blockages from an energy level as well as releasing physical pain and tension. So that energy healing affects the physical body, physical work affects the energy body. And in the case of the dog I just mentioned a moment ago, an energy healing intervention created a huge shift towards greater health in this guy when a broad range of really physical and standard veterinary treatments had not helped at all. Now, the bottom line is that energy healing can be a very powerful tool in your arsenal when it comes to keeping your animals healthy and happy. However, we don't have a whole lot of high-grade evidence for energy healing. There are some great studies that have been done, and I've done other blogs and videos on them where there's been some very well-constructed, double-blinded, replicated studies that have showed that energy healing can show positive, measurable impacts greater than a placebo. But we don't have a whole lot of evidence. So what I don't make any claims for the whole energy body balance work. I know that it can make a huge difference for animals, but I'm not going to go out there saying, oh, you know, if you've got a sick animal, try this, it'll fix them. Because it might not. However, I do believe that there will always be a benefit for your animals to have energy healing no matter what's going on, whether they're well and happy or healthy, whether they've developed an illness, whether they get an acute injury, trauma or need surgery. Energy healing can be a beautiful adjunctive therapy to help you support your animals through these things when they happen. Now you need to have a vet to work with as well. Don't just use energy healing and say, I'm only going to use energy healing, it's just a miracle, it'll fix everything. Because it won't. And you might cause your animal untold suffering or even lead to an untimely death if you don't use things like antibiotics when your animal's got an infection, because that's what's going to be needed. No matter how holistic I am as a vet, if I get an animal with a raging infection, bacterial-based infection, or then they're going to need to have some antibiotics for that. And Michelle, no, energy healing is a way of using and directing healing energy with your own consciousness and your body and imagination. And I have online trainings where you can learn how to do that. And you know, I really do advise you to always have an integrative or holistic on your pet wellness team, even if you can't have one local, have one that you talk to on the phone or by Zoom, so that you can integrate as much holistic treatments into your pet's wellness plan or the plan for getting them over illness or whatever. It's really, really important. So that's energy healing. It's something that you can learn how to do for your pets. It'll develop your intuitive ability to connect with and understand your pets more deeply. It will help you then be able to intervene with energy healing skills to help them relax, calm and be soothed, and in some cases make a physical difference with illness or anxiety and a whole lot of other things. So if you'd like to learn how to do that, please do message me or hit me up in the comments, because we have online trainings where we teach pet parents just like you how to give their animals energy healing and make their lives a better place. Okay, that's that for today's session. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We will see you next week.